Hey guys, I just noticed something ridiculous while playing with my Crusader on Torment 2 while doing a Nephalem Rift. I'm using a holy build, mostly based on the Blessed Shield. In the past, I mean, right before getting this beautiful two-handed legendary mace, I was using normal fire spells, and on my Blessed Shield I used to have the combust rune, but now I've decided to switch to the Shattering Throw, which means that the shield is going to when it hits an enemy, it breaks up into 3 smaller fragments, and by default the shield bounces up to 3 enemies. So which means that if it breaks up on every single enemy, it's gonna give you up to 9 particles or 9 shields, because if it breaks on 3 enemies and breaks into 3 parts, that's gonna be 3 times 3, 9 units. Now, on top of that, I've got the special shield, the Jekangbord or Jekangbord. I don't know how you want to call it, but this is a pretty impressive shield. It's a really good shield if you have a build that's oriented towards Blessed Shield, and this will increase the Blessed Shield ricochets to 4 additional enemies. This means that instead of hitting 3 enemies by default, the shield is going to hit 7 enemies with 340% weapon damage plus the 250% from shield block chance. This means that when you're using this with the Shattering Throw rune, that means you're going to hit up to 7 enemies, and if it breaks up into 3 pieces every time it hits the 7 units, that means up to 21 shields that are going to bounce off. Now, the funny thing is, what I've noticed is that the shields, you do not need to have 7 enemy units or more. You do not have to have a huge pack for this effect to occur. Strangely, even if you have only 2 units, this is going to be a beast. This is going to be a monster, because I don't know if it's bugged or if it's something that Blizzard might fix or not. I hope they won't, because I think it's working as intended. When you have 2 units or maybe 3, the shield is going to rebounce it's going to go back and forth between the units like crazy, and it's going to deal a shitload of damage. And you might think that it's broken. Now, this is quite funny, because I'm playing on Torment 2. I don't have a ridiculous amount of damage, but I do have a build that is oriented towards crit chance and critical hit damage. I do have a lot of critical hit damage. You see, I'm using a green gem on my weapon, and apparently I'm not a professional. I'm not a very good Diablo 3 player. I just had a friend who gave me an advice, and it said, you know, the higher you go in the torment levels, it's more based on crit and crit damage. So right now I'm doing a Nephalem Rift, and I want to show you guys how this works. I had to find a group of monsters here. Now let me go faster. Yeah, sorry, I cleaned it up a little bit. So yeah, it's based on crit, and before using this, you know, I was not using any holy skills. I also have these bracers that give me additional 14% holy damage, and I'm also using holy cause in the past because I didn't have a holy damage weapon. I was not using all these abilities, and these bracers really come in handy. And on top of that, holy cause is going to help me sustain a little bit. Instead of using holy cause, I was using wrathful, and that was how I was trying to regain my life. Now let's see if we can find a pack of monsters here, and I'm going to show you. I'm also using shield glare, which is going to increase the enemies that are blinded will take 20% more damage. Now let's see without the blind. They have to be packed. Look, this is not a great example, but of course, now when it's a single target, it's not going to be a lot of damage. But let's look here. Look here. Look. One shield, how it bounces back and forth, back and forth. This is just a ridiculous amount of damage. And then if I go for a blind, with only one shield, you deal a ridiculous amount of damage. And the closer the targets are, the shields are just going to keep on bouncing on and off. So I gotta find a group of really packed monsters, because that is when this really hurts a lot. And it's a ridiculous amount of AoE damage only with Blessed Shield, not taking into account Condemn or Heaven's Fury. I just wanted to make this video because I found this ridiculous. And even if you want to do some destruction around, it's gonna cause a lot of havoc. Blind. This is one shield. 2 shields. 3 shields. 4 shields. Look how that bounced back and forth between them. It's just ridiculous. It's almost as if it was broken. Now, I didn't try it with the combust rune because my holy skills are dealing more damage, but blind them, look. This is just ridiculous how it bounces. That was just 2 shields. Boom, and it can even bounce back and forth from the objects that you can destroy, you know, destructible objects. It's gonna bounce back and forth from them. So you can still keep damaging monsters, but look. 1 blessed shield, 2. Now, sometimes it doesn't work great because it doesn't bounce off that well, but when it bounces off, man, it deals a lot of damage. I don't know why. Sometimes, I don't know if it's a bug or something that Blizzard is aware of, because sometimes when you throw the blessed shield, it doesn't bounce off as intended. But let's see. Look here. I'm using just blessed shield. All right, I use condemn, but this is a ridiculous amount of rebounds. Now I gotta gain some wrath, but once I'm back at full wrath, I'm gonna throw a blind or glare. Look how that was with 1 shield. 2nd shield. Ridiculous amount of damage. This is so easy. I mean, elite packs, they're gonna be so easy. Now, also taking into account, yeah, I forgot to say I've got the 2-piece set from Blackthorn. The Blackthorn set, so it does increase my damage against elites by 10%. So this is like a ridiculously good build to farm, you know, packs of elite mobs if you're doing adventure mode. I find it an interesting build. I mean, I'm sure there are much better builds out there that are being made by professionals, but I just discovered this randomly and I wanted to share this out with you guys. So if you want to try it, just it's a really interesting build if you want to go for some damage and for a lot of fun. And I also like the effect of the shield, the sound that it makes, the way it bounces off. So I don't know, guys, just try it out. It's a really fun build, but of course, I think what really helps is this Jekangbord that makes the shield ricochet to 4 additional enemies. This really helps a lot. Alright, so thanks for watching the video, guys.